You guys ever heard of FromSoft? They're a small indie team that ended up making a game called Dark Souls that went absolutely viral. And it all led to their most mainstream, most popular game yet, Elden Ring. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock, you've played Elden Ring, and you've heard of Elden Ring Nightreign, which is notable specifically because it includes multiplayer, something no other Souls game has done before. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, actually, there has been a multiplayer mode, and yeah, but that's been super inconvenient, okay? Not only does half the community say you're not playing the game right for doing it, but it's incredibly frustrating to actually summon a friend and then keep summoning them every time, because whenever you beat a boss or beat the area that you have summoned them for, you have to re-summon them again. And that's annoying. So yeah, these games separate the boys from the men. And I'm sure you can see what category I fall into. Now, the reason so many are enjoying Nightreign, myself included, is that multiplayer is so easy and it's fun. Balance be damned, it is so fun to just go through these games with a friend because they are so hard, and being able to work together to overcome those challenges is incredibly unique. Now, wouldn't you want that in all the Souls games, not just Nightreign? Yeah, me too. And guess what? You can. I'm sorry, that was too close to the mic. I should probably... Now, I need to get some apologies out of the way because I'm sorry, console players. This isn't for you. It's only for people on PC, but let's be real, the first 3 Dark Souls games could basically run on anything, so you don't need a high-end computer to download and enjoy these games. But the reason it's only on PC is because it's a mod, all made by one person. What does this mod do? Exactly what the title implies. It adds seamless co-op into Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and soon Dark Souls 2. Essentially, the moment you start a Dark Souls run, you get a bunch of items when you rest at the first bonfire. And with these items, you can open your world to wanderers, essentially other players who can join your session. You can leave it open for anyone to join, or you can set a password to make sure that only people you know are able to join. But how does it change the game? Well, for one, it does make it a lot easier, okay? Being able to stun lock enemies because you have 2 people with massive swords just swinging at somebody, yes, okay, it does make the balance a little off, but there are a ton of settings to retweak the balance to make it more fair. For example, when you normally summon somebody in a Dark Souls game, all the enemies get a health boost to make up for the fact that there's 2 people, and they get a poise boost, and sometimes they get a damage boost too. You can tweak all of these very easily in the mod settings to make sure enemies have more health, do more damage, have more poise, to make sure you maintain that difficulty that is really core to the Dark Souls identity, especially with Elden Ring. I want to focus on the way it's implemented in Elden Ring for right now, because it's so impressive given that it's an open world. When you and a player are in the same lobby, you can run around to the same locations, different locations, completely across the map. You can warp to different bonfires independently of your friend. And I think that's incredible. The best part is it all works through the Steam network and it's super stable. I played through Dark Souls 1, 3, and Elden Ring with a friend who lives in the UK, i.e. on 180 millisecond ping for the majority of the playthrough, and it was still tons of fun and very consistent. Essentially, when one person dies, the entire party is inflicted with a kind of rot. This is a debuff that encourages the party to stick together and play together, meaning you can't just speed run through the game because while you're in Limgrave, somebody else is clearing out Caelid. The way to get rid of these debuffs is to simply rest at a bonfire. And what this further disallows is the ability for somebody to essentially sit as a spectator, making sure the enemies don't respawn, while the person who's actually playing just gets to go through and retry the same enemies over and over again because they don't regain their health.
Come on, bitch, come on, oh, fuck me, no, fuck!
In boss fights, it works a little differently. When you enter a boss arena, you and your friend get a chance to take a crack at it, and if one person dies, they spectate the person who is still alive. And this spectating mode works really well. Again, this is made by one guy. It's kind of insane. Now, I should note, it does fix the fact that there is no regular multiplayer in these games yet, but it won't fix some of the glitches, and it's not gonna fix the hitboxes. I'm so sorry. And I will admit, this mod does come with its own handful of glitches, but they're very small, and they never really affected the playthrough outside of, oh, I might have to reload my game once in a while. A lot of the footage you're gonna be seeing is me playing with one other person, but you can play with up to 4 people. It's kind of insane. I have a playthrough going that I don't have footage of, I'm sorry, of me and 2 other people going through Elden Ring, and it's a ton of fun. However, I should mention, I really don't think this should be your first introduction to these games. I think a lot of Dark Souls games artistically are meant to be experienced as a solo adventure. Yes, there is summoning, there are invasions, and there is a lot of online elements to the game, but it is meant to be a solo journey. You want to feel the struggle of going up against an insurmountable task and then eventually being able to get through it. The other problem is that sometimes your friends can kill important NPCs and lock you out of an ending.
You did not just fucking do that! Oh, brother! What is this guy fucking doing?
Now, of course, part of the solo experience is invasions, and while it's never really something I've enjoyed, I am happy to say they're still here in the co-op mod. You can still be invaded by other players, and they are just as annoying as ever because they think they're the first genius to ever discover running away from you and then turning around to hit you, and it never works ever, and they keep doing it, and it prolongs the fight way longer than it needs to be. So if you want to install this, I'm sure you're thinking, oh my god, what kind of Algebra 3 NASA mathematics do I have to do to install it? Bro, you just drag and drop the file. It's so easy. It's free. The other thing you have to do is go into the settings file and add a password and make sure that it matches your friends so that you guys can actually get into the same lobby. But aside from that, it's so easy. It's so painless. The best part is you cannot get banned for using this. It doesn't break any rules, and it uses a completely different save file system so that your main saves don't get corrupted. Another great part is that you don't really compromise on anything. Everything that you could do in the base game can still be done in this co-op mod with a friend. However, there is a small caveat that some things might be a little out of sync or glitchy, for lack of a better term. For example, there was one quest in Dark Souls 1, the quest where you revive the Firekeeper, that I was not able to complete with a friend. But really, I think that's a small price to pay, especially when this is free. You do not have to pay for this mod, and if you pay for this mod, you got scammed, okay? I'm sorry to tell you this. It's absolutely free, and it's made by one guy. Said one person, all they ask is that if you can, you donate to their Ko-fi page. And I'm going to leave it linked in the description because I think it's really important to support this mod and the creator because it's breathing new life into these old games. I love replaying the Souls games. I do it, once every couple of years. And being able to do it with a friend makes it so much more fun. And so I think it's really important to support mods like these and support modders like these who are doing it for the love of the game. They're not trying to make any money off of it. They're not trying to sell you something. They're just trying to make the game you already paid for better. And I think that's insanely respectable. Playing this mod with a friend genuinely made it so much more fun. Yes, it did make some of the best parts of the game more enjoyable, but I think for my co-op partner, it made the times where I got very angry more fun too, because they got to see it in all of its glory.
Fuck! Wow! Ah! Fuck! And we fucking have to go back, man. Fuck! Oh my god, I'm so fucking over this. Oh no! He's so fucking slippery!
And I want to take a minute to talk about just wider modding as a whole, because I think it's so important to a game's lifespan. Now, of course, developers can't really plan for mods to take off. You can add modding support to your games, but that doesn't mean that modders are going to want to develop your game further. And when modders do want to add things to your game, make things more fun, develop their own ways of enjoying that product, it really does increase the lifespan. For as much as I think Skyrim is a great game in a lot of ways, there is no way it would have stayed as relevant today as it is if it weren't for modders. Modders took that game from having a year-long shelf life to a decade-long shelf life. And even that isn't even true, because the game is still relevant to this day. There's still people buying, downloading it, and installing more gigabytes of mods in the game than there are gigabytes of base vanilla game files. That is insane. Games like Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, have all had extended lifespans for me personally, because I'm able to download all of these different mods, different combat mods, swinging mods, suit mods. Suit mods are huge. Like, there are some suit mods that are so good they justify an entire replay of the game. And so I think it's really important to support, spotlight, and just highlight these mods, because it shows two things. The first is that developers see this and see, oh, these are really cool features that we should maybe add into our own game. Fun fact, in Minecraft, beds were originally a mod, and the developers saw that mod and thought it was so good that they put it into the base game. It can really have an impact on how a game is developed or how a sequel is potentially developed. Two, it encourages people to just make things. There are so many creative minds out there that are making, again, to go back to Spider-Man, free suit mods. There's this guy named Guitarth Vader on Twitter who has spent literal months modding a perfect version of Tobey Maguire into that game. Is it a little insane? Like, should you maybe see somebody about that? Yeah, absolutely. But it's so cool. And I love seeing that kind of creativity expressed in games, because it enhances products that we've already paid for, and it makes, as a fan of those games, the game's way more fun to play and replay. So support your local modder. Maybe if you see a mod that you really like and they have a Patreon, donate to it. I think it's really important. And thank you so much for watching this. I know that this format is a little bit different for me, but I want to try something out. I'm sorry my head is so shiny. I didn't lotion it today. I normally do, but it's actually so hot in Vancouver right now that this is just sweat, bro. It's so bad. Thank you so much. Thank you to our patrons whose names are going to be going across the screen right now, or maybe I'll put it across that screen. That might be a bit more fun. And have an excellent day. And while you're at it, download these mods, replay a game with some friends, and don't worry, the co-op mod for the best Souls game, Dark Souls 2, is coming. And it's gonna be glorious. Okay, bye.